Hey guys, Evacso here. I've got ultimate difficulty realistic sliders. I've got two slider sets, one for longer halves for about 7 minutes to 10 minute halves, and one for shorter halves, 4 minutes to 6 minute halves. So these sliders are obviously very difficult. Ultimate difficulty, basically it's been unplayable for the last couple of years. Same thing again this year. So I've got a lot of advantages for the user, but I've made these sliders that even if you play on legendary difficulty, you can use these sliders. So I've been testing these sliders on 10 minute halves. These are for the longer halves, so 7 minute halves all the way to 10 minute halves. Now let's get into my camera settings. So my camera settings, got this a broadcast camera, height at 0, zoom at 0, fast focus on 5, and ball tracking speed on 0. Before I get into the sliders, please like and subscribe if you haven't, because I also will be updating these sliders very regularly throughout the year. Let's get into it. So go to AI behavior, custom these, tackle aggression on 35, build up speed on 40, just to slow the play down a little bit. We've got shot frequency, first touch, pass frequency, haven't touched them, keep that at 50, and crossing frequency at 60. You basically need to increase crossing frequency or they're just not going to cross a ball really. They're going to get down to the goal line and just basically pass it backwards. You really don't want that happening. And you got dribble frequency at 35. Because the higher the difficulty I found, the more they like to dribble the ball. So just had to lower this down to 35. And the skill move frequency is on 50. Now into the sliders, so custom the gameplay type. I have the wind effects on off and so the weather effects. But you can have this on a little bit. It doesn't change it too much. Got sprint speed on 45 for user. Sprint speed on 44 for CPU. So I don't usually give an advantage for the speed or even acceleration for the user. But without changing the sprint speed and acceleration in the user's favour, it would be almost unplayable. So yeah, in the acceleration you got a pretty big difference, like 50 acceleration to 48. Got shot error at 60 for user and shot error at 62 for CPU. Pass error, finally got this down to 50. Have to do that. And the pass error on 56 for CPU. Shot speed on 50 for both user and CPU. Now pass speed, I don't know why, but in the last update patch, they've actually nerfed passing. Really don't know why, like even ground passes, over the top through balls, they've nerfed it all, and I didn't think they really needed to. But now I've had to put the pass speed up a lot higher. Got the pass speed on 47 for user, pass speed on 42 for CPU. Injury frequency on 50 for both user and CPU. Injury severity on 30 for both user and CPU. Goalkeeper ability on 48 for user and CPU. So just goalkeepers are so good in ultimate difficulty. They're like saving them in the bottom corner, top corner. Like I was literally getting into like 12 yards out, shooting side netting, and they're saving it. They just save everything. So had to lower this down. If you're still struggling, you can put the CPU's one down even to like 46. Now here comes the big differences. Marking at 67 for user and marking at 58 for CPU. So yeah, you got a 9 difference there. And yeah, for me especially, like this is the only way to play ultimate difficulty. If you got marking at any higher than 60 for CPU, you're just not going to make any chances whatsoever. Not even like any like half decent chances. Just you're not going to get even into the final third. It is just too difficult, especially that high press. They just press you, and you can't even get it past into your midfielders really. You're going to have to do all these back passes. And like I was playing so many side passes, they were just constant. I went on to like the passing page, like into match facts, and they're just all side passes. It was stupid. So you have to have this under 60. Run frequency is very high. You got this on 75 for user. But they just don't make any runs. I don't know why. I thought, especially in the new update, I thought run frequency should be the one that they would be improving first thing, but they don't. Like wingers are just not making runs, which is like so stupid really. They're the one like position you would think they're going to be making runs all the time, but they just don't. They like to sit all the way back, sit on the sides, and they're just not making any runs. So 75 for user, 70 for CPU. So just a little bit of an advantage there for the user side. Line height at 75 for users and CPU. It seems like that is the best line height for all sliders. Line length of 45 for user. Line length of 49 for CPU. So that is the biggest line length I've had in any difficulty. And in ultimate difficulty, it feels like it's not the fact that they're really good at attacking, it's actually they're really good at defending. They're not much better in attacking, and I can really defend really well, keep a clean sheet, or only concede 1 goal. But it's the fact that you can never score goals, so the advantages are mostly in making chances for the user's team. Line width on 50 for user, line width on 52 for CPU. Now if you're still struggling, you can put this up to 53, and that will make you be able to make some more through balls, especially into that striker. You'll be scoring goals then. Fullback positioning on 80 for both users CPU. They just, again, like the wingers, they don't make runs. It's like, seems like any wide players, they just don't make runs. And that's the positions that you want to be making runs. You can't be just standing out there not making any runs. It's like very pointless. Power bar at 52, this is your preference, you can have it whatever you want, but I needed to put it out on 52 just to score or make any chances. You can put this up to 55 if you want, but if you have this at 50, that will give you a real challenge. First touch control area on 55 for user and 60 for CPU. You're not going to get much space anyway, so if you have this at any higher than 55, you're going to lose it because they're instantly on you. Like, the press is crazy. So that's it for the sliders for the longer halves. So let's get in the shorter half sliders. So for my short game sliders, I've been playing them on 5-minute halves. Use them on 4-minute halves as well, 6-minute halves and 7-minute halves. So my camera settings are the exact same for the shorter game sliders. Tackle aggression, I put this up to 40. Just be a little more aggressive in the short games. Build up speed, increase that obviously. But they give advantages, especially make the gameplay a little bit quicker. More chances happening. Kept the shot frequency and first touch pass frequency the same at 50, and cross frequency is also on 60. Dribble frequency, I've increased that a little bit to 40. Skill move frequency, always on 50. Now there's some big changes in my sliders, so got the sprint speed on 45 for user, sprint speed on 44 for CPU. Now I've actually slowed it down a little bit for acceleration for user, just because the shorter games are always even just quicker for some reason. It's like the gameplay is just different, just quicker in general, so had to slow it down a little bit. So I lowered down to 49 and kept the acceleration on 48 for CPU. Shot error on 57 for user and CPU. Pass error on 50 for user and 53 for CPU, so lowered that heaps. Basically, in the short game sliders, the advantage for the user isn't as much. Like, just sort of like balanced it a little bit more in the short game sliders. Shot speed on 51 for user and CPU, so now you can actually sort of score long shots. It's like, you can't really score a long shot unless it's over 50, but if you have it over 50 when you get in the box, you're basically always scoring goals. So I just feel like they just need to just make long shots better, but I don't know how they're going to do that really. Pass speed on 47 for user, pass speed on 45 for CPU, injury frequency on 50 for both user and CPU, severity on 30 for both user and CPU. Goalkeeper ability, just lowered that down a little bit. Again, if you're struggling to score goals, you can put this down to 45. And obviously you're not conceding many goals, lower this to 45 as well for user. So I keep them at 47, marking on 57 for user. So this is the biggest difference. Like, I had it in the 60s for user, but I've lowered it down by like 5 or something, 5 or 6. And marking, I've only lowered this down by 2 for CPU. The user's run frequency I kept the same at 75, but just increased it for the CPU, just to help them out, make more chances happen. Line height on 75 for user and CPU. Line length of 47 for both user and CPU. Line width on 52 for both user and CPU. Full back positioning. I'm just trying to increase this, make it at least make some runs. Still, I'm not even joking, on 85 they don't make many runs. Yeah, I just don't know why, unless they're a wing back. If they're wing backs, they're obviously going to make some runs. Still not a lot, but even if you put the fullback on attack, they're still just not making runs. They just stand there, standing at the halfway line and not help out the winger. Yeah, like if you're a winger and you're making like a run, like the fullback's just not going to overlap you really. They're just not going to help out. They're just going to sit back. Yeah, just lazy. We got the power bar. Again, I kept this at 52. Again, it's your preference. Really whatever you want. And first touch control error on 55 for both user and CPU. So yeah, spent a lot of weeks making these sliders, like a lot of weeks. Like I've had a big gap between making any sort of sliders, spent like the longest time on ultimate difficulty just because it's always like unplayable. Like I've literally classed it as unplayable unless you make a lot of changes in sliders. Like you can't just play it on default, no way, unless you have an incredible team. And that's also another thing. I wouldn't be playing with ultimate difficulty sliders unless you have one of the best teams. But anyways, thank you for watching. I will be trying to update these sliders as regularly as possible. And I'll catch you guys later.